was inserted into the back of the camera. You had to manually wind it onto the spool. The Ensign Selfix 20 camera was quite a portable camera, as it can be folded away. The camera can be held in either portrait or landscape, so there are adjustable viewfinders to suit. No automatic functions found on this camera. Everything was manual. The focus, the exposure, and the shutter speed all had to be set manually before taking a photograph. Twisting the lens helps get the image in focus. Setting the shutter speed indicates how long the shutter stays open to take the photograph. The shorter the shutter speed, the less amount of light gets into the camera and onto the film. The shutter can be left open. If you are in a dark setting, you would want a longer shutter time to allow more light onto the film. Setting the aperture also allows the amount of light to come into the camera. The back of the camera opens so you can insert the roll of film. This is demonstrating the use of the shutter, the exposure,